Welcome to the second hour of Citizen Extra live on Citizen TV. My name is Wahiga Mwaura, and we continue talking about the looming plastic paper bag ban and the implications as well. This is a topic clearly that would take about 3 hours to be true, for one to be able to really exhaust all the questions. But we'll try and do what we can in the next 20 minutes or so. Dr. Kalua, before the break, had a point, and I promised him I'll give him exactly half a minute to summarize that. Daktari, over to you.
The thing is, for every Kenyan, we just need to understand that with the ban, it is like a crisis. And in every crisis, there lies an opportunity. The secret lies in identifying that opportunity. When I got into Kiondo business, it was killed because of the introduction of plastics internationally and locally.
Okay.
So that there was no longer market for our Kiondo, there was no longer market for all this. Can you imagine the opportunity that is going to come, the excitement at the grassroots level for production of all these products that create a new entire opportunity for business? And this is what we need to look at.
Thank you, Daktari. Thank you so much, Daktari, for that. Interesting insight, Daktari Amasi, and I believe our viewers at home are listening. Let's now go to the question session. Let me see here, and each of you can weigh in on this. Mrs. Chepkonga is asking, I'm one of the biggest poultry farmers in Uasin Gishu with a vast network. How do I freeze and distribute broilers? That's one. So let me ask three and then give you a chance to weigh in on them. Another person here, let me see here. Someone here, you don't give us your name. Have you attempted other alternative means of using plastic bags? For example, making of plastic poles for fencing. The economic impact of the ban as compared to above alternative. Actually, you've given us your name. His name is Yatich. And finally, someone here with a comment. These papers have really messed our environment. Please let us do away with them for a better Kenya. Let me start with you, Betty, and Samuel, you can also weigh in on this. I'll come to you, Daktari, after that.
Yes, maybe I'll just pick something that was raised, that there is no legality in the exemptions, and I would like to just tie in that the Gazette notice allows the CS also to provide guidelines.
Okay.
And by law, the CS is permitted to provide guidelines on how the laws have to be done.
Okay.
And we have already drafted guidelines which are already under the umbrella of the same Gazette notice, so we are legal.
Legally you're covered, and you're responding to what,
to
what Samuel had to say.
That there are guidelines, it is under the same Gazette notice, so it is legal. We don't need to start making other laws. That is where people like to go, so that we continue wasting a lot of time saying there is no law. The laws that are there are adequate to make us address this.
Thank you, Betty. I think
exemptions, it is not only these two.
I'll have to cut you off. There are questions, so I hope you can address the questions.
Yes, I will, on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, so that is done. I think you wanted me to respond on the...
Chepkonga asking about poultry farming, how to freeze and distribute. Another one asking, have you attempted other alternative means of using plastic bags? For example, making of plastic poles for fencing. The economic impact of the ban as compared to the above alternative.
I think that is inching on recycling.
Okay.
And recycling you can make different products.
Okay.
We are even having groups that are using the same waste paper to make baskets to weave instead of even using sisal, which are permissible because they last long. And so recycling can be weaving baskets out of it after it is cleaned. It can be taken to make other products like basins, sandals, cutlery, plastic. So the recycling can produce other types of products.
Okay, and for the person who wants to learn how they can distribute their
poultry? Distribution, we may want to consider some of these large producers as industrial packaging, so that we are saying that particular plastic is in direct contact with the product, and this is what we are exempting and giving a clearance letter for primary packaging. If you can show that this is the only way to transport it, because the way we are exempting the paper for bread, for sweets, for sausages is the same.
So what should they do? Should they go to the nearest county office of NEMA?
Nearest county office, be able to explain their production practice, and then we determine whether you fall under primary packaging or not.
Okay, so anyone who has any queries, visit your nearest NEMA office.
We are
offices in all 47
We are
counties.
present in every county.
In every county, that's
and
right.
our county director of environment, who have the powers. We have decentralized so that they can give, licenses, permits as we coordinate from the headquarters. So it is synchronized. It is synchronized.
Is there a hotline or a SMS line or something, or for now just physically visit the NEMA office?
Well, the NEMA offices are open, but we have a hotline at the headquarters.
Okay.
I'd like to join in and talk about the poultry farmer from Western Gisha, I believe.
That's right.
We are now looking at as an SME or a farmer who is in a rural setup, who is doing poultry, and she needs to package her poultry meat and transport it to the market. We're also looking at an industrialist who is packaging large scale. Don't want to give an example, but we know who are packaging, but then they are allowed because they are doing it systematically.
Okay.
And then the SME who is also in business is not given that because it has to be large scale. So this is what we're talking about. Like packaging the poultry is hygienic if you use plastics.
Okay.
And if we are exempting the large manufacturer, we need also to offer similar terms to the SME, and that is the bone of contention.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I think you made your point. Dr. Kalo, let me read another 3 questions, allow you to weigh in on them, and Betty as well. Let me see. One person, you don't give us your name, but you're saying, where will we go after the ban, those who work in those companies that manufacture those bags? Flo from Kakamega, again, this is not Citizen TV's questions, these are you at home. She's asking, what about women's weaves? Somebody else here, let me see if I can get that question here. Hussein from Voi is asking, even the small ones we used to pack Njugu and Mabuyu, have they been banned? Okay, Daktari, let me
start with that one. Yes, the small ones for Mabuyu have been banned as well, and I believe there is an opportunity for an alternative. Let me start with what Chepkonga raised. It's very clear that distribution of poultry is an issue, products. And I can feel Chepkonga because I am in the same boat.
Okay.
Because I produce seedlings in the thousands with so many of my network, and it's a big challenge. We've been asking ourselves what will be the alternative, and there is so much that has been found that can work in this. And I want to encourage Chepkonga to visit the KICC if he or she can make it, and see alternatives, because there are other products that can come up, and also liaise with NEMA offices across. The second thing I want to raise is how to clean up the freezing and the distribution of all these plastics.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Waigwa, if a county chooses to be clean today and they use policy, you can imagine how much budget is there for fencing of government properties at the county level. Any county that just issues a policy to say that from this date, as I get in as a county governor, I require, or we require through the assembly, that every fencing poles be done out of plastic, you will see the cleanest county. Because this is an opportunity, because people can now pick up all these products. They will even dig them from the shambas, wherever they are, to go and create an industry that for sure can last over 3 or 4 years as you clean up all these exercises. And therefore it's a tremendous opportunity. After the ban, where do we go? I want to say that to my friend from Voi, it is the same question. Previously we had posta and the telephone that is already outdated.
Yes.
Where did these people go? It may be painful for a short time, but it's a bigger win, because the social profit that comes with all this, the amount that you're saving in your hospital bill out of the reduction of toxics in our bodies and the environment, the inclusion of so many other expenses vis-a-vis the opportunities that are going to come up, and money trickling down to the grassroots, is something that you can never measure. And therefore I encourage Kenyans sincerely, and I speak this from my heart, please embrace this. This is good for the environment.
Okay.
This is good for us.
Okay.
Yes.
Betty, before I come to you, let me add some more questions here because I know time is not on our side. Someone, Christine, is asking, what happens to the fishing hooks we import packed in polythene bags? Fishing hooks, okay. I hope you understand what they're asking about. Another person here, what about mama mboga? How will they pack the already cut mboga? And I think we talked about that, but we can revisit it again. Odhiambo Onono says, please stop. Let's have absolute total ban from all points, whether right from manufacturer to the user, because it causes environmental degradation. And some are also asking here, let me see this. Oh, Dr. Chule, comment, we should have banned plastic bags a long time ago. Let's also clean our city rivers. They are a mess. Betty, comment on the ones that you can.
Yes. I will comment on the industrial packaging that we are going to be expecting them to label. Even the ones we exempt, I'm going back to that because it is where the industry feels there is a problem.
Okay.
We'll be expecting them to label, their paper. So
moving forward, all papers need to be labeled.
Yeah, the ones we exempt, they are not just free. They have a condition.
Yes.
That they have also to label so that we know whose it is. And as they come for a clearance letter, they will be also showing NEMA what is their strategy to call back their product, so that they bear the responsibility. Because the responsibility is not just NEMA, but it is what we call producer extended responsibility. So that you are not only producing for profit, but you should also be part of the cleaning up.
Okay.
So we will be expecting to see a strategy on how the industry that has been exempted will label and how to call back their waste back to themselves. Regarding the other point, I think
there was, let me see here, someone asking about, okay, so there's a general line of questioning. People are asking about meat, which you buy in the butchery, boga,
yes.
Things like njugu and all those.
There are already companies in this country that manufacture paper from used paper.
And maybe we can try and be a bit practical. Hopefully my director can favor me on this. So let's take a look at what's here on the table.
Yes.
So you can use this with your meat, for example.
Yes.
You can use the brown bag, and I hope we can get that shot. So you can use the brown lining to cover the sheet that you put the meat on, and then you put it in a bag like this one.
And these are products that Chandaria, for instance, manufactures.
Okay, so
companies like those are not probably operating optimally because they didn't have an adequate market.
And
now they can.
Where you have something like githeri, which has soup that would seep out at the bottom here. And hypothetically, you can't afford to buy something like
what
this.
We are also urging,
what's the alternative then?
What we are also urging Kenyans is change of behavior. Because we have also lost a bit of that. We have to have change of behavior so that foodstuffs can also be consumed from that point, from the source where you are buying it. If you are buying from Mama Boga and there are these containers, you can eat there and leave it there because they will now clean and reuse. But we have also, lost a bit of that.
Yes.
Because we are urging Kenyans, let us embrace this willingly and also adjust change of public behavior towards some of these things, because we cannot say that we must carry things and go eating as we go along, because it is also not hygienic.
Okay.
We must also adjust, be able to eat mainly from the point of source.
Okay, change of behavior
is
a key message I'm hearing.
Is very important.
I want to give each of you a minute each because we need to wind up this broadcast. Samuel, let's start with you. 1 minute, tafadhali.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I wanted to reiterate the point I said that the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, we are supporting initiatives to clean up the environment.
Okay.
And that's why we are housing the Global Compact at KM, and we are also we already launched the Responsible Care with some companies which have already taken off, where we're looking at waste collection, waste transportation, waste segregation at source, so that we have different bins which are labeled, so that if you have plastics, it has to go to a particular bin. If it is glass, it goes to this other one, and other waste goes to the other one.
Okay.
And the recycling, whereby we have several companies who are already investing in recycling.
Okay.
The only bottom line is that what we said earlier, and what we've been saying, is that these discussions we could have gone through them and provided alternatives and solutions and answers to the queries that have been coming from the congregation.
Okay.
And then we could have no problem at all with this. And we support the government initiatives, and we'll always continue doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalua. 1 minute, Tafadhali.
Thank you. Allow me to first of all appreciate KAM because of this waste management process. I think it's a very good thing that must be embraced by all. The same was launched by NEMA last year, and it is going on very well on matters of waste management. But let me tell you, Waigwa, what we are suffering from. Advertisement is so powerful that people disregard it sometimes. The plastics that we've been having produced and living out of people's shops and supermarkets have been used as a source of advertisement. The paper that you're just holding here, it says Mamba on itself. So it creates a Mamba in you when you imagine, because it's so repeatedly made that you are a Mamba, and therefore you must be able to believe in this. And therefore this is one thing that we need to understand, that it has been advertised so deeply that we see it differently.
Okay.
Now let me say this as I finish. There is a tremendous opportunity. Someone asked about fishing hooks. Yes, we have to change the way we package this. Others talked about different things, but let me say necessity is the mother of invention. Jack Ma was here just the other day. There is now a need for us to identify a solution that will meet the need and the requirement that the market requires.
Okay.
Let us see that and shoot straight, while those naysayers and those who keep talking are talking. There will be business opportunities that are coming in that entrepreneurs must start picking up. So and I want to uphold the government for the process that they have taken to ban this process.
Okay.
It may sound painful, but I think it is so important that we all embrace it.
I'll have to cut you there, Dr. Betty.
Yes.
1 minute, please. In fact,
yes.
if possible.
Thank you very much for having NEMA in this show today to clarify things, and I think we have been able to interact. We have tried this before since 2008.
That's correct.
And we did not succeed then because maybe the efforts were not supported by all, and particularly industry did not support the establishment of the standard. We are working very closely with the Bureau, and we will soon release the parameters for the alternatives, and the Bureau has really been very supportive, so that we can say if it is the cloth, what is the tensile strength, what is the how durable, and so on. So that when you go into mass production, you will not be surprised again to be told, oh, this was not the correct thing.
Okay.
So if it is khaki material, if it is woven material, non-woven material, all these cloth things, the papyrus, so that we know this is where to go, and it is not to be punitive.
Okay.
So we want to thank Kenyans for giving us the support. There is a lot of support, and Kenyans are willing to adjust.
Thank you.
So let us change behavior. Let us value our environment, because if we were to do a comparative analysis across all sectors on the effects of plastics on agriculture, health, livestock, wildlife, tourism, we are losing more.
Thank you.
As a country.
I'll have to stop you on that point. Thank you so much. Glad to have Betty Nzioka, Deputy Director, Monitoring and Evaluation at NEMA. Many thanks indeed for being here with us. Isaac Kalua, Daktari, an environmentalist, and Samuel Matonda with the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Manufacturing Sector Expert, or Sectors Expert. Thank you for finding time to be here with us, and of course also to NEMA for helping us with some of these displays, just so that Kenyans can understand some of the implications of the ban moving forward. That's how we wrap up this part of Citizen Extra, but on the other side, after this break coming up, we shall be talking about the National Assembly. Lots of talking points around that. We have current lawmakers, former lawmakers rather, and also analysts, political analysts in studio to help us take a look at some of those issues. You're watching Citizen Extra live on Citizen TV.